Meet Alice, a quiet and innocent teenager who attends a strict Catholic high school. Many kids stop attending after the first few days because the environment is so rigid. The discipline teacher makes sure to examine each girl's looks in great detail. She even takes measurements of their skirts to make sure they are the right length. The school is infamous for its extreme religious viewpoints, lying as a vice, and watching romance films as a crime that demands punishment. The majority of the kids concur, but Alice, who is undergoing a difficult adolescent time, is perplexed. She has a strong interest in erotica. Father Murphy, the principal of the school, frequently speaks in sex education sessions. Explaining the coitus without the intent to reproduce is sinful. One day, a curious student asks if jacking off, often known as self-coitus, is permitted. He is merely cross-examined by Father Murphy, asking, "Does that make babies?" He also makes it plain that engaging in any type of sexual activity prior to marriage will only bring about eternal suffering. As Alice's sexual inclinations continue to increase with each lesson, she finds it difficult to understand all of this. Her teacher forbids her from having those fantasies, but on the other hand, her body needs them. Where her best friend Laura doesn't share her confusion, she feels even more perplexed. When Alice eventually gets home, she sits down next to her computer and launches the well-known online chat service, AOL. She is exploring other rooms when all of a sudden she receives a message from a guy with a nickname Harry Chess 1956, who she has never met. He sent some inappropriate photos of him doing it with his wife in an unwanted manner. Unaccustomed to such images, Alice instantly shuts off the monitor out of disgust. However, her curiosity overcomes her, and she turns on the display and begins scrolling through the pictures a little while later. Harry 1956 contacts her once more. He said he is interested in her ASL. He gives Alice a thorough explanation because she doesn't know what that means. After Alice claims to be a 22-year-old woman from Iowa, the man requests to see her photo. She sends him a picture of her friend. The man becomes even more enthused by this and begins messaging her in a lewd manner. Since she doesn't understand the majority of the words, Alice just reads in confusion. The man asks her whether she's enjoying herself while the conversation continues. Although Alice has never done it before, she inserts her hand inside. Once the man gives her the all clear, Alice suddenly begins to feel amazing, but her mother enters the house just in time to stop her in her tracks. She quickly exits the monitor and makes her way to the kitchen. The following day at school, a popular girl approaches Alice and Laura as they are eating lunch in the cafeteria and exclaims, "I cannot believe Alice dumped Wade salad." She adds that this rumor is circulating across the entire school. However, Alice denies doing that, stating she doesn't even know what the phrase means. She also claims that Wade, the nerdy classmate who usually appears high, is someone she never speaks to. After the popular girl has left, Alice removes the chocolate fillings cover and begins to lick it. This naturally causes the nearby guys to start laughing. When Wade and his girlfriend show up there, they declare Alice to be repulsive. After learning about the rumor, Alice is prohibited from assisting during Mass by the discipline teacher. She also advises the adolescent to exercise caution since God is monitoring her as a result of her guilt over the AOL chat episode. Alice confesses her venial offenses to Father Murphy in the evening. The latter does not chastise her, but kindly requests that she stop from doing such things. He orders her to repeat the prayer 20 times as punishment, and she does so without hesitation. The kids will be taught how to become more spiritually connected at the school's next retreat, which is where Alice and Laura plan to go. While Laura wants to be noticed by Nina, a popular senior, Alice sees this as the ideal chance to get back on the correct road. Alice can't stop staring at Chris, the retreat leader and team captain of the school football team. As soon as they get to the campgrounds, however, Laura is happy to finally meet Nina, a different retreat leader. However, the two are disappointed when they are chosen for different groups. Later, Nina takes Alice to her room and requests that she turn in all of her equipment. Although Alice passes over her watch, she maintains her phone on her person. The following morning, everyone in the main hall is there as Father Murphy begins one of his tedious talks. He claims that none other than the all-powerful God himself has called them on this journey. After the students make it through his talk, a survey is requested of them. The kids are asked to circle the feelings they experience throughout the course of the year on a sheet that lists a variety of emotions. Some of them are circled by Alice, along with the phrase "switched on." But when the allotted time has passed, she changes her mind. Her attempt to remove the circle next to "switched on" is unsuccessful. So before submitting the paperwork, she simply crosses out the word. The pupils are instructed to enter the stage for the next activity and speak any way they choose. Nina sees this as the ideal chance to grab everyone's attention. She goes on to talk about how, when she was a child, her family disregarded her. The strategy succeeds, and the entire class gathers around her to give her a hearty hug. Alice has a sudden thought that evening as she secretly uses her cell phone. She shoves the device between her legs after setting it to vibrate. Alice begins to experience strange feeling she has never experienced before, like butterflies in her stomach. She halts, though, when she notices the crucifix hanging in her bedroom. All of the retreat participants go on a hike through the woods on the second day. Chris gracefully assists a female who trips and falls. Alice gets an idea from this and pretends to be hurt before asking him for assistance. He runs up to her right away, lifts her up, and takes her to the nurse. Alice is quite happy. She is experiencing many hormonal explosions in her head. So far, she is finding the retreat to be a pleasant one. But regrettably, Nina discovers her cell phone in the evening when it abruptly vibrates. It is promptly seized, and Father Murphy receives Alice. He assigns her housekeeping responsibilities around the retreat home as a form of punishment. Alice complies and gets to work immediately. She continues working on it for a few hours until she sees a computer in Father Murphy's room. Alice quietly opens his computer and logs on to AOL because no one is around. She then asks what exactly tossing the salad entails. She receives a variety of responses from those in the short term, but sadly, none of them seem to be definitive. Alice quickly shuts off the monitor as she hears footsteps approaching and fails to notice that the computer is still open. She bumps into Nina as she is leaving, and she lightly embarrasses Alice about her alleged encounter with Wade. Nina continues by saying that she is not upset with her for smuggling her phone inside unlawfully. Instead, she believes that Alice is moving in the direction of righteousness. The third day, Chris gathers a group of pupils and requests that they share any regrets they may have. He thinks that confessions assist people in reducing stress and maintaining focus. All the students go through their emotional tales one by one. One discusses his recent divorce with his lover, while another explains how she was unable to attend her grandmother's burial. When Alice's turn comes, she is speechless and simply makes up the story that her dog was poisoned to death and she was powerless to save them. One of the pupils is so moved by the story that she begins to cry. Later, when everyone is in the cafeteria, Father Murphy arrives with a worried expression on his face and admits that someone has downloaded pornographic stuff on his computer. Then he orders the offender to take ownership as quickly as possible. He exits after stating his go-to line. God is watching when no one speaks. Alice is terrified by the encounter, but she chooses to keep her secret hidden. All the students are called one by one to Father Murphy's office. He wants to make sure they are moving forward. When Alice's turn comes, the first question she is questioned about is her relationship with God. She only says it's good. Murphy then queries her as to why she circled the word "turned on" before attending this retreat. Alice claims she felt it, but she doesn't feel anything today. Wade and Father Murphy discuss a rumor before he departs, and he even presses her to admit it. Alice, who is still unaware of the truth of the story, assures him that she is innocent. Wade makes the decision to annoy Alice that day when she's cleaning the cafeteria by leaving trash all throughout. She confronts him aggressively and demands to know what's wrong. But Father Murphy shows there and removes him before he can respond. Soon after, when Alice picks up cleaning again, she discovers Wade's bracelet, which he had earlier left behind as she walks to the kitchen. She retains it in her pocket and finds something startling. Nina is kissing and subsequently falling in love with an unknown man in the woods. In addition to being in complete bewilderment, Alice is also aroused. She therefore balances her hormones by placing the mop handle between her thighs. After finishing, she immediately runs to her best friend, Laura, to tell her what she saw. But the latter won't accept her story. Instead, she reprimands Alice for making such derogatory remarks about Nina, her idol. She even labels her a pervy maniac and claims that she used AOL on the father's computer. Alice enters Father Murphy's office right away and places Wade's bracelet on the keyboard. She tries to go, but Murphy interrupts and forces her to hide in the closet. Unexpectedly, the Holy Father begins kicking back to some pornographic material that he has saved on his sacred computer. Alice, who is present throughout, turns her head away and closes her eyes out of disgust. Chris approaches her outside and inquires about her well-being. Additionally, he insisted on chatting to her in order to cheer her up. He seems interested in Alice, so she gives him a passionate kiss. Chris finds it extremely strange and cries as he flees. Alice slips out of the campgrounds at night while everyone is busy praying to get some fresh air. She finds a lesbian club and commiserates with Jenna, the proprietor, about how the fear of hell might affect the teen's growth. The teen questions Jenna about why everyone puts on a false front to win, favor, and conceal their true selves. She continues by saying that she is hesitant to experiment and make minor errors because she is worried about going to hell. Jenna shares her own tale after seeing her melancholy state. She claims that she was raised in a Catholic home and attended a school where the regulations were very severe. She refused to let them alter her, and as a result, she is completely changed from the person who was anticipated of her. When Alice hears this, she starts to smile a little. Jenna offers to drive her back to the retreat after their conversation is finished. She also advises her to look at universities with a lot more open minds. Alice has one more query for the lady before she leaves. She's curious as to what tossing someone salad means. Jenna chuckles for a long time before saying that it refers to licking someone's rectum. Alice also puts on a happy face while actually being horrified. Wade is quickly pulled away by Father Murphy during breakfast on the final day of the retreat. In light of the discovery of his bracelet, the father believes he is responsible for the crime. With this, Laura reconciles with Alice and makes a commitment never to judge her again. She also unexpectedly says Wade is gay to hide his genuine identity. He simply circulated the notion that Alice had thrown his salad. The scene then quickly cuts to a few days later, where Chris runs into Alice at school, but he's still on edge from the earlier event. He fears Alice will kiss him again, but once she assured him that she only wants to be friends, he becomes less anxious. The following evening, Alice meets Father Murphy in the reconciliation room and casually confesses that she watched an adult film while on the retreat. Father Murphy discovers that the video is his favorite when she begins describing its nuances. They both know what's going on, but they choose not to talk about it. Before departing, Alice asks if she will be punished for viewing the obscene material, and Murphy replies, "I don't know," with guilt in his eyes. In the climactic scene, Alice arrives at her house and starts watching Titanic, her favorite movie. She fast-forwards to the private moment and is ready to release her hormones. She discovers a vibrator nearby that might belong to her mother. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more powerful movie recaps.